Good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Holani. Anambra is in focus again. The election, of course, is coming up on November 6th. It's not the smoothest terrain, if you get my meaning. There are apprehensions in the country, quite frankly, as concerns Anambra. After all, every part of the country has to be safe for us to all feel safe. And the security situation in Anambra has been what it is. So much so that ad hoc employees of INEC that will be conducting the election reportedly, were pulling out, resigning, not declining to serve, perhaps as a result of their apprehensions. INEC, it must be said, has denied this, has given the lie to this, saying that it's not true where that report came from. Look at this against the background, of course, of the president. Sometimes, I'm not sure if it's the president or the presidency. Both could mean the same thing in some occasions. But I think, yeah, it's the president this time who gave marching orders, so to speak, to the security chiefs that, komi de komi, the election in Anambra must happen. Nothing must stop it. So that's the way on which they're working. Let me introduce my guest, Emeka Madunagu, our friend. He's a journalist, veteran journalist. Thanks as always for coming on.
Thank you very much.
Emeka.
Good morning, viewers.
Indeed. And we also hope to be touching base with, Anambra, maybe remotely. We will be speaking with an APC chieftain. We have things to discuss with him, his efforts, his party's efforts in the election, which, I don't know, the public utterances in Anambra. This is a political season. He'll be telling us, because as far as INEC is concerned, APC definitely is in the election. They have released the name of the candidate of the APC, APC, the ruling party generally, although the ruling party in Anambra is APGA. Naturally, they're guarding it jealously, so much so that the Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment has consistently been maintaining that APC is not in this election. You could put that down to political speak, but if we get a chance and we speak with him again, remember a few days ago when we had our friend Sidon Adinoba, that's the Information and Public Enlightenment Commissioner in Anambra State, he had repeated that claim. So maybe there are those who will see it as a propaganda. He's rooting for his own candidate, so to speak, in the sense that the APGA candidate is former CBN Governor Charles Soludo, and he's just been the commissioner. As a party member, has been saying that they have no doubt he's going to win. Well, he may well say that, but there are other parties in the race. APC is in the race. PDP is in the race, as well as others. But the official voice in Anambra consistently is saying that there are no other parties really in the race. And then couple this with the fact that the deputy governor defected.
Yeah.
He defected to this very APC that the official voice is saying is hardly in the race. So there's clearly, that's why I said that maybe I could stick my neck out a bit and say all of that seems to be political speak. But even before, apart from that, the security situation, apparently, do you have any reports that the way security is moving into Anambra to maintain the peace, to discourage any kind of violence? I don't know what the proper reason would be, but the security reported to be moving into Anambra. Are you apprehensive that it could have the negative effect of making people apprehensive, if not scared?
No, it shouldn't make people apprehensive, because the basic problem has been that of unknown gunmen. Attacking people, and people being afraid to go out, to go to their businesses, their offices, banks, being afraid to open, because the security has not been widely, distributed enough to give them the assurance that they are safe. So that's why. But of course, if the people are assured that there will be, adequate security that is properly distributed, properly deployed in different polling stations. Don't forget that INEC has increased the polling units in Anambra State. So the deployment, properly deployed, not for the IG to tell us that that a DIG is in charge of the operations, 14 commissioners of police, I think about 3 AIGs or so. And then at the end of the day, you distribute these policemen to guard politicians. I mean, that's part of what we've been seeing in, recurring elections. You don't see security personnel. You hear government saying we'll deploy XYZ number of soldiers, we'll deploy thousands of policemen, civil defense and all of that. But you go around polling units, you now wonder, where are these policemen? And you see thugs, having a free reign, snatching ballot boxes, shooting people and all of that. And you wonder, where are these thousands of policemen? They have been, deployed, in areas where politicians, feel they need to push some more weight. So,
well,
yes.
You know what, I hear what you're saying, and but let's refresh our memory with word from the police, itself, on this whole matter.
Primarily, our intentions, our aspirations are to see that the elections do not result in anything that is unwanted, any bloodshed, any violence, intimidation, coercion, or even terrorizing the people of Anambra State. It is their fundamental right to vote and choose whoever they want to choose as their governor. They should not be denied that right.
Security is a civil responsibility that we will provide to the people of Anambra to come out and exercise their franchise, and we hope we will do that with all sense of responsibility, and we also urge the people of Anambra to come out in mass and exercise their franchise.
Okay, then, Inspector General of Police there are reassuring Anambrans and the nation, really, that they got this particular issue, and sort of encouraging people. In the meantime, as I hinted, we can speak with an APC chieftain in Anambra, Mr. Ben Chuks Nwosu, former Speaker, Anambra State House of Assembly. Good morning, Mr. Nwosu.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me.
Indeed. Let me jump straight into it. You being of the APC, the official voice in Anambra, by which I mean the Commissioner for Information and perhaps other senior members of government there, have consistently maintained that APC is not in this race, contrary to INEC's statement and all of that. How worrying is this, that APC is not in the race? It cannot campaign. It does not campaign. When it even makes efforts, it is not pre-announced, and they are just a very, very scanty crowd of people. Tell me how much APC, your party, is indeed in the race in Anambra.
The statement you alluded to must be ancient history. 3 months, 4 months ago in Anambra State, anybody talking about APC winning this election will be joking. But as a maestro in the person of Senator Dr. Andy Oba, who came on the scene, made sincere statements, made convincing moves, and continues to make those moves that has lured incumbent elected non-APC party officials to APC. And that has changed the music, that has changed the game. The people that are talking, maybe from APGA, as you said, they are jittery.
It looks to have frozen. I wonder if it's loosened up now, but in case you can hear me, let me just ask.
What is happening is unprecedented, this kind of, and it,
okay.
hello?
Yeah, hello.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Oh,
I can
okay.
hear you.
Okay, excellent. If you can hear me. I hear what you just said. You can't deny the charge that Dr. Anduba has not been heard from as much. Why is that? He's not, even his own party, I mean, you know, I don't know how you see it. Did you want to give the light to that? We haven't seemed to heard from him as much as the candidate of the ruling party in Anambra State. First of all, do you agree with that or not?
Well, it is a false statement. Some people are vociferous, others behave politically like the kerosene, moving house to house. I've been impressed with the work rate of the gentleman called Senator Dr. Anduba. Last night, I didn't get home until about 2 a.m. We were moving from one small group to one small group, from various different localities, different local governments and wards throughout the night. From the campaign, massively attended campaign rallies we attended in from Idemili North and South to Oka North and South to Njikoka, Dunukofia, and Anocha yesterday. So it is a false statement for anybody to say that campaigns have not been going on, or that he has not been seen, or that he has not said much. Still waters run deep. This man has been making an impressive impact with political office holders, stakeholders, people that have political quantum to add to the outcome of the election. And they are coming in droves. Indeed, they have not stopped coming. Some other tsunamis will happen within the next 72 hours. And you will be so impressed, because we are building this campaign, we are building this election around elected office holders who are trusted by their people to have sent them to the offices they occupy today. So that statement is a statement of fear. It is a propaganda that has no basis. If you were on ground here, you will testify that that statement is false, and that the dexterity of Senator Dr. Anduba and his campaign team has been massively successful and effective. And it will be reflected on election day come November the 6th.
Well, it's good you just said that, because I was going to ask you what you thought the chances of your party are in the election. Everybody is sounding very, very confident. When I say everybody, you know what I mean, the different contestants. Even though people are talking about the three, if you want, front winners, front parties, APC, PDP.
I have been a director general of campaigns for 3 gubernatorial aspirants, and I talk from facts. I talk from statistics. I talk from verifiable facts on the field. If you look at Anambra is 3 senatorial zones, consists of 3 senatorial zones. If you go to each senatorial zone, you can imagine, by the sheer number of people that are coming in who are elected office holders. I'm not talking about the masses. I'm not talking about people who are moving in droves. I am talking about those who are holding elected offices. In the north, for instance, the senator representing the Anambra North Senatorial Zone, distinguished Senator Stella Odoa, is with us. 2 elected members of the Federal House, Ofumelo and Linda Tuba Ikpazo, they are with us. The chieftains, I don't want to mention too many names now, but you can verify that the 7 local governments of the North, as far as I'm concerned, are gone. If you come to the central, you will also notice that some very strong stakeholders have joined the bandwagon effect of the contact and mobilization tactics. And
how important a boost? How important a boost do you think the defection of the deputy governor in Anambra to your party, I imagine, along with teaming supporters, tell me how that is going to impact?
I would wish you were in his local government yesterday, We went to Enugu to receive him at the airport. And his local government was one out of the three that we campaigned in yesterday. If you see the field, if you throw sand on people, it will hang. It was touching. And it was a statement by his people that he has been maltreated, that he's not been fairly treated by the government he has served for 8 years in APGA. Somebody who says he's not been able to see his governor for 8 months. 8 months. The governor has not seen him. He has not been able to see the governor. You can imagine the humiliation. You can imagine the emotional readiness of the people to cast votes, to make a statement, to say that APGA has been rejected and that because of the humiliation meted out to their son, who has served meritoriously for almost 8 years, that they are going the other way. They are coming to APC. I believe that Njikoka and its votes will be one of the highest in the election.
Okay.
As a protest.
One second, please, Mr. Ben Chuks Nwosu. We'll take a break now. We'll be right back, and we'll continue alongside our studio guest, Mr. Emeka Madunagu, our veteran journalist. Stay with us, please. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. We're speaking with an Anambra APC chieftain, Mr. Ben Chuks Nwosu, former Speaker, Anambra State House of Assembly. And in studio here, we have veteran journalist Emeka Madunagu with us. And we'll get calls, including yours as well. It's interesting, the impression that we're getting from Mr. Nwosu. What I mean by interesting is that you got to really try to hear all sides in a given issue. Because to hear the official side, by which I mean the ruling party is APGA, Sidon Adinoba, he is a Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment. To hear him say it is the direct opposite of what we're hearing Mr. Ben Chuks Nwosu tell us. And if you were to get hold of the APC, the PDP guys, they would also have another perspective. But I think the one thing that we're sure about is that whereas the APGA representative, no, I wouldn't call him representative, the APGA Commissioner for Information in Anambra, and consequently, a member of the Interior, so to speak, is saying that he maintains every chance he gets that APC is not in this race. This is contrary to what INEC has said, and he said all sorts of things. So we just have to put these things in perspective. INEC is the regulator of the election. Yes. INEC knows who is in and who is out. INEC knows who has complied with all the conditions, and INEC is saying to us, to the world, for whoever wants to listen, that not that they were addressing the question specifically of INEC, of APC not being involved. They are saying that the parties that they know are ready to run in this election include APC.
Yes, of course, APC is on the ballot.
So it's political speak, it's propaganda?
Well, of course, you'll expect in an election season that politicians would say all kinds of things to boost their chances. But the issue is about, it ought to be about the people. I mean, I had what...
Might it not rebound on them if you feed falsehood to the public that they on ground? Mr. Nwosu was saying in there that I wish you were on ground to see some of these things, which will, those things that he is wishing people from outside could be party to see. The people in Anambra who get the opportunity to speak with us are poo-pooing and belittling. So it therefore looks like that, as in most political situations, you just have to strive to get as many sides of the story as you can.
Yeah, the interesting thing is that, yes, everybody will say what they like, but something struck me about what Mr. Nwosu said. He said they've been building their campaign around the elected officers. What about the people? I mean, all of this is just about we have this, we are this, we are that. What about the people? The people
Are you carrying the people along?
That is the issue. He's not even said anything about the people. Just, okay, went to campaign rallies, and there were a lot of people in those,
yes, he spoke about massive crowds.
But you know, of course, you know that is the standard in Nigerian, campaigning, electioneering. People turn out, any rally comes up, as long as you can do the needful, quote unquote. You know, people will troop to your campaign rallies.
Wait a minute, for people that might not be able to decode.
Yes.
For people who might not be able to decode.
Yes, you give food, you give water, you share money.
which, and then, which is different from a politics of ideology and selling your ideology.
That is the certain. That is why he has talked about building campaigns around people you can hold responsible that, okay, if the projection fails here, they will tell you what happened. But let me tell you, the politics is about the people. That is one. And then two, nobody who is talking about the hanging threat from IPOB. Who is talking about it? How are they engaging? Because there is palpable fear.
Okay.
Palpable fear. So people want to be sure that, okay, on election day, if we come out, you know, or do we even come out? Can we come out on election day? That is the question that has not been answered.
Mr. Ben Chuks Nwosu, are you still with us?
I heard him clearly.
Please comment.
There are security things that are not discussed in the public. Let me assure you and the gentleman that you are with in the studio that expeditious, effective, and effectual efforts and contacts are being made with the IPOB people. The agitations are not strange to any Igbo man, certainly not to any Anambra man. We felt marginalized. We felt not part of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Indeed, that is why the tsunami you are witnessing is happening, because we want to try to fight.
We'll wait on it. Clearly, the line froze again.
Secluding ourselves in a political party that has not grown to any other Igbo state in 8 years. Instead of staying at home and complaining, we said, let us march to the center of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and argue our case as energetically as we can, as members and citizens of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Nobody was talking about IPOB. Who are members of the IPOB?
I hear you. It's freezing for a moment, so let me switch to Sidon Adinuba. He has called in on the phone. Sidon Adinuba is the Commissioner for Information and Enlightenment in Anambra State. As I was just about to say, good morning, Sidon, I'm being told that we just lost him, the connection. So if the if the video connection is shaky, I was a bit surprised that the phone connection too was shaky. But we'll hear from Sidon Adinuba, especially if we can get him back again. And in the meantime, as we were listening to Mr. Ben Chuks Nwosu, Mr. Ben Chuks Nwosu, we understand that you are now back. Okay. I just got the Commissioner for Information in Anambra on the line, but then we immediately lost him as well. So I wanted to continue with you. Mr. Ben Chuks Nwosu is APC chieftain. He has explained how his party and his candidate in Anambra for the governorship election on November 6th definitely is a going concern. And not only that, just like as we heard from the folks at APC, at APGA, Mr. Nwosu is also saying that they are not unduly concerned and that they are working. But I wanted you to talk to the question or to the issue raised by Emeka Madunagu in studio, that whereas we hear you about building your whole campaign around, proven elected officials, how about the people? Do the people feel as involved? What would be your comment in that regard?
Madunagu wants me to reveal the political tactics we are using. Well, because the election, the campaign is just about 1 more week, it does. The elders, religion, and all religions, moving into markets, moving into small groups of youths of all organizations, moving to the level of Homunna, if you know what I mean, the clans below the ward level, below the political ward level. That is what we have done. And we are doing that using the chairman, the secretary, and the officials of such community groups. So in answer to his question, we are engaging the people. And what are we telling them? This is more important. We are telling them that the demarketing of APC and the demarketing and the propaganda of the Hausa Fulani Party and all that, we have had enough. We are telling them that 70% of some of our people that are residents in Nigeria, but outside Anambra State, are residents in the 19 states of the North. And that none of them has been excluded from the rights and powers of owning properties. And indeed, they control more than 70% of the properties and investments in the entire 19 states of the North. That the service industry is dominated by our people. That the pharmaceutical industry is dominated by our people. The motor spare parts and such engineering endeavors are dominated by our people. And that our services are needed. And that there are productions, food, meat, all sorts of things, vegetables that come from the North, which we also need down here. That the propaganda is enough. That it is enough. That we need to go remove ourselves from this demarketing, from these lies, from this unfounded propaganda. Every large family in Igbo land, you must find not less than 3 people who can speak either fluent Hausa or fluent Yoruba.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Nwosu. I'm going to take another break. I'm going to take another break. I'm afraid I've got to take another break. I'll be right back. Stay with us, please. Okay, welcome back. Still with Mr. Ben Chuks Nwosu, APC chieftain in Anambra, and in studio here, Emeka Madunagu. But Reverend Dominic is also on the line. Good morning, Reverend.
Good morning, Yori. I've been here.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead, please.
Okay, Yori, I've told you several times, anytime you want to discuss about truth, about Southeast truth, issues in Southeast, don't invite politicians. When they want to talk about their party, you can invite politicians. Because, listen to me, every Igbo man, whether the Southeast, has lost touch with the politicians. This is why the man talking is listening to me. This is why they're going through political elected people to talk to them. Let me tell you what happened in Owerri a few months ago. Emeka knows. A few months ago, the governor of Imo State went to lock banks on Tuesday. Why? He was doing that because the bank listened to IPOP than him. He told them to come out on Monday. They locked their shop because if they opened their shops on Monday and these people came to attack them, nobody comes to their aid. So they better listen to IPOP than listen to the governors or the leaders in Southeast. Like what Emeka said, nobody's talking about the people. If somebody come out that day to cast his vote and he's killed, how will we stand for him? So the people in the Southeast have taken caution. The economy has destroyed. They have destroyed everything they have. So both the IPOP and the politicians have become challenged to Igbo people. So that's why they are taking caution. I pray there's an election in Anambra State.
Indeed.
Let me talk to Emeka about the policing. Emeka, the number of policing in any election in Nigeria is good for budget. When I tell you 40,000 is good for budget, you will go down to the poll that day, you will see one policeman with a baton. You wonder, what is 40,000 people? It is good for just budget. It's just to make budget. You know, Nigeria said, whatever we do is budget and Naira and Kobo. It's not the protection of people. I pray that Anambra people come out, and I pray that the election next week Saturday. But the politicians are not helping matters at all. And let me say this before I go. Obama family is known in Anambra. Solution family is known in Anambra. It's a choice for Anambra people to choose Obama family or choose Solution family. It's left for them. Thank you.
All right, then. Thank you very much. Mr. Nwosu, give me your impressions or concerns, perhaps, on the security situation, especially the show of force that's going in there. Quite a number of police boots on the ground, so to speak. Do you think this will have the desired effect, or could it further exacerbate the apprehension that people fear, that people have?
It is regrettable that there has been a lot of demarketing and a lot of security concerns. And that security concern has no exception, whether you're a politician or you're like most of us, sympathetic to the ideals of IPOB, except for the violence. Policing any election effectively is a desired thing. But like the last speaker said, I don't know why the number is that high, the number of security people expected. Maybe because of the threat that is on ground. You see, it is a question of whether or not the election will hold. On the part of the federal government, you can understand, because if the election does not hold, I think it helps
Okay, it's stuck again. Let me use that time to go to Chidi, who has called in. Good morning, Chidi.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you for calling, sir.
Good morning, Emeka, Madunagu.
Good morning.
I'm taking delight in the discussion concerning the forthcoming Anambra elections. But here, I think what should be paramount is the well-being of the citizens in Anambra State. Given the threat by the IPOB on one side and the gladiating politicians who would want everyone to win at the same time, which they know that is not possible. My humble take here is that the federal government and every other stakeholder, particularly the INEC, should ensure adequate security for the citizens who will come out and make decisions of who governs them. As a matter of fact, the political landscape in the southeast, particularly in Anambra State, is quite unsafe. And if any citizen should come out in order to cast his vote or to perform his civic responsibility, and at the end of the day, his people will begin to cry, I don't think it speaks good of our democracy.
Okay.
Thank you, and God bless Nigeria.
Thank you very much. I guess this must be part of what, Emeka, the federal efforts, I mean, it has been said that, look, the federal government cannot look away. It has a responsibility to ensure security and peace in every nook and cranny of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. In that connection, no doubt, is the large number of security personnel that reportedly are now congregating in Anambra. I don't know. This probably. What's your thought in that line? This whole matter about people just need to be secure.
It's not just about.
So there's IPOB on the one side. People are fearing IPOB. Yes. There's the police presence on the other.
It's not just about loading Anambra with police, soldiers, and all of that. I asked a basic question. These politicians, are they in touch with the people of Anambra State? Can they give the assurance? The hanging question is this. Give us the assurance that we can step out on election day. Now, yesterday, Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer, Ifeanyi Ejiofor, he posted something on his Facebook page, which is very instructive. Nnamdi Kanu saying that people should be careful about people using the opportunity of his absence to cause chaos, to cause confusion. Now, these leaders, which of them has tried to actually reach out to these guys who have put this hanging threat and said, listen, we will...
Just saying there that...
No, he claims that they've been reaching the people. But let him go on record to say that people can come out on November 6th, without any fear.
Well,
let him go on record and say it, because the thing, they don't want to commit themselves. They're just giving you, platitudes. Now don't worry, the police and all of that. And we know that elections in Nigeria are not just about the sheer number of security personnel, but also about touching base with the people, and then people who constitute threats. Politicians also reach out to them to find a way to contain them. And then, of course, if these guys are saying, okay, that their leader, Nnamdi Kanu, should be released before the day of the election, what exactly have you done about it? The lawyer has said that that their case is on course, that they have a strong case, that the guy has not committed any offense.
Okay.
Now, in between, what is going on? What assurance are you giving the people? Because that's what the people are just saying. Forget about whatever party or no party. Give the people that assurance.
Okay, we'll give APC chieftain Chuks, Ben Chuks Nwosu, a chance to react to that. But in the meanwhile, Madam Ada has called in from Jos. Good morning. Go ahead, please.
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Yori. Good morning, Mr. Emeka.
Yes.
It's Ada from Jos.
Yes.
You see, militarizing Anambra State is not the issue, Yori. The problem is if the military they send there, become Pakistan, that is where we're going to have a problem. That was exactly what happened in Kogi. Remember, we got to a point in Kogi, we even had fake policemen. I asked Frank Omba on a Radio Nigeria program, Police Diary. I asked him, have they been able to tell us who those fake policemen were? Because they admitted that they were fake policemen. The fake policemen overpowered the original police. But if you have fake, you have an original. That is Nigeria for you. We have helicopters hovering on the air there. What did they do? They ended up rigging the whole thing. That is the issue. So that's why we're going to have problems. So it's not just militarizing in the place.
Okay.
Then if it is done in such a way that it will now favor one party, that's another issue.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for calling in, Ada. Now going to Mr. Ben Chuks Nwosu, former Speaker, Anambra State House of Assembly and APC chieftain. You saw that the conversation came back round, even though you said, if I'm not mistaken, that you had, used means at your disposal to contact IPOB, proscribed IPOB people making these problems. In commenting on that, and also another thing, you might want to call it propaganda, demarketing lies demarketing lies, unfounded propaganda, such as we have done. But the question also has come up from the official voice. I'm talking about the Commissioner for Information, that they fear APC as the ruling party is trying to muscle in on their situation in Anambra. Maybe you could just sort of wrap up those two questions in your comments.
A bad workman, my brother, always complains about the implements and the equipment of work. Abga has been in government for 8 years. You should come to Anambra State. I invite you at my own cost to come to Anambra State. And you see the massive collapse of infrastructure. I want you to come to Anambra State, walk the streets and look at the faces of the people. It is the faces of the people that will tell you whether they are happy or not. We want to turn this around, want to change the system, want to get our politics right so that our economy can come back to life. You are talking about interfacing with IPOB people. They are not spirit, they are our brothers. And we share in the process of marginalization and all the major tenets of their agitation for self-determination, which is legal, which is constitutional. The only difference is that we think that we should explore the political means of presenting the same problems and the same agitations to the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That is the difference.
Okay.
Most people feel the same thing. That is why most Mondays people obey and they stay at home. And whether you share their modus operandi or not, it is in sympathy with what is going on against the Igbo man.
And to the charge that, and to the charge that APC being the ruling party nationally is trying to muscle according to your opponents, your political opponents in APGA. What would you say? They're trying to use the federal might to muscle them in Anambra.
Whenever there's a match and one team is by preparations and by training is likely to win, you complain about the referee. the losing side will complain about the referee. I respect Adenuba is from Ihala, just over there. The point he's making is unfounded. It is spurious. It is illogical. Every federal government in the whole wide world owes it as a responsibility to protect lives and property. To make sure that I don't want one person of any party to lose his life or limb because we are trying to do an election.
Okay.
If it means emptying the entire security apparatus in Nigeria, in Anambra State, to ensure that, I will have no objection.
Okay,
So
one moment, please. I've got to take on Mazi Okoroa for now, who has been waiting for a while. Good morning, Mazi.
Good morning, Sayori. Good morning, my brother on the line. You see, Sayori, Anambra election is an election that needs consultation with the youth. Dialogue in all the ramifications. It is not a formula brand of presentation of issues or problems. Look at what is happening now. These boys, these young men, they will issue a statement, and the statement stands. Now you ask yourself, the governors within the Eastern Line, what are they waiting for? Is it not their duty to come together within this week before the election and do what? Gather all these problems. It's not a problem. All these dialogue formulas, brand of people, and see that let's talk. We don't use force. I've been saying it that even this the program that was said last time, you saw it. People say that you don't use violence with violence, you don't use crisis with crisis. Let us dialogue. Call these boys them. Because if you boys them, they say the statement the issue is stronger than the governor. Now you have to say, if the governors and the National Assembly members and House of Rep members and the State House of Rep have given these boys and these girls and people within the environment, that is the dividends of democracy, all these problems will not come because they have not seen the dividends of democracy. So what does it take?
Okay.
What are they acquiring for?
All right. Thank you very much for calling in, Mazi. You know, even though we did connect with Sidon Adinoba, the Commissioner for Information, who would be speaking on the part of APGA, APGA, we lost that call, and we've been trying, you know, frantically to get back to him. We want to present to him the viewpoint of some of the contestants as to his utterings, and we will keep trying even up to the last moment. We're trying to get him on phone, but for some funny reason, it's not happening yet. But we've heard that the APC chieftain who we're speaking with, Mr. Ben Chuks Nwosu, former Speaker, Anambra State House of Assembly, among other things, have called utterances from Mr. Adinoba demarketing, lies, unfounded propaganda, spurious, and illogical. We'll present that to Mr. Adinoba as soon as we can get hold of him. Because, you see, as we were saying, you've just got to get as much as you can from all sides, even though Reverend Dominic's opinion is that don't bring any politician at all.
No, you have to hear.
You have to. You have to.
But talking about the marketing, Anambra people are not stupid. They are sufficiently educated and exposed and enlightened to know what is going on, you know, around the world, not just in Anambra. So when you talk about the marketing, Anambra people know, even, little children know what is going on, youths know what is going on, and you know, it's not. You have social media, the internet there to inform them. A lot of people have phones, you know, and they interact with their people who live outside the southeast and who live around the world. You can't pull the wool over their eyes. It's not about talking about the marketing. The issue is this. Let me tell you, what Mr. Chuks should do is this: let him tell Anambra people that they will get IPOP to lift that threat. And let me tell you something: the turnout on November 6th is going to be massive. You don't need all this security deployment and all that.
Okay, we'll give Mr. Nwosu a chance to respond to that. But in the meantime, Ogbonna, I believe, Ogbonna in Abuja. Good morning, sir.
Yes. Morning.
Quickly, please.
Hello?
We can hear you. Quickly.
Yes, fine. Well, I want to contribute into the topic you are discussing.
Go ahead.
Yes. What I want to say is this. I have a question to ask. Hello?
Mr. Ogbonna, we can hear you loud and clear.
Yes, I have a question to ask. The question I want to ask is this: does IPOP have the right to say that nobody is coming out to vote in the federal government election? That's my question.
All right. Thank you very much for calling in. Appreciate your call. It's a rhetorical question because
it's unfortunate given the circumstances. But
IPOP is prescribed.
You have to, yes.
First of all, IPOP is prescribed. But it is still wielding power.
A lot of power. So the question is this: how do you How do you deal with this issue? How do you respond to it?
Okay, let me also see how Mr. Ben Chuks Nwosu would respond to the charge that you made of, let Mr. Nwosu tell us, give us an assurance that come out and vote and you will be secure. Mr. Nwosu, is that a doable thing?
God bless you. Fear and courage are things of the mind. Remember, to vote, to come out and vote, or not to come out, or not to vote, they are voluntary things. It's a civic responsibility. But if you decline, there is no sanction for somebody who did not vote or who does not want to come and vote. We are appealing to them to say, we are discussing with our brothers who have grievances, who have made statements about not wanting the vote to go on. But we are discussing with them and telling them what is likely to happen if there's no election. And
so
for them to weigh it,
so talks are ongoing.
I don't have to say it.
And are they telling you that they will lift that
of our discussions on air?
Yeah, but can you depend on what you get out of IPOB? Because I don't know if you consider it reasonable to get an assurance from IPOB, such as you seem to be working on, that it's better to let the people come out to vote. Can you get IPOB, prescribed IPOB, to lift their statement? That seems to be the big issue.
Gentlemen, you have the leader of IPOB, the respected Nnamdi Kanu, in jail. You have him in jail, and I'm against that incarceration because he has a right to come to court and defend himself on bail. That bail has not been granted. I've been a lawyer for 30 years. He has a right to his bail. Nnamdi Kanu should be on bail and then should face his trial if you have any charges against him.
All right, I got to take John now. John is calling from Enugu. Good morning, John.
Yeah, good morning. I want to contribute on your discourse matter.
Please go ahead, quickly please, because we're almost run out of time.
Okay, life is beautiful and precious. Yes, when we talk of life, we can never compromise life. The issue about Anambra election, somebody was asking if IPOB has the right to issue order so that the election should not hold. Somebody gave an auction for a seat at home and it was obeyed. Without gun firing, without anything, and the people obeyed. The problem there is that assurance, if people's lives are being insured, if anything happens, nobody will like to lose his or her life because of our greedy politicians.
Okay, I get you. I've almost completely run out of time, but thank you very much, John, for explaining it, the import of it. Coming back to you, Mr. Ben Chuks Nwosu, I guess we're going to have to leave it there, but you heard the comments. People seem to be expressing fear. Even those outside of Anambra seem to be expressing, if not fear, at least apprehension. The point the last speaker just made about life being everything. What would you say to that in a few seconds, please?
What the federal government is doing is to provide security for the safety of lives and property. What the political parties that are contesting are doing is saying that in the face of this security paraphernalia, please come out and vote freely and nothing will happen to you.
Okay, we've got to leave it there. Mr. Ben Chuks Nwosu, APC chieftain and former Speaker, Anambra State House of Assembly. We've got to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed for making time for us. Unfortunately, we couldn't see Don Adinoba, who would have told us his perspective from the APGA ruling party in Anambra. We missed that opportunity, but it's not as if his views are unknown to us. Earlier in the week, he was on our program and is all over the media, constantly, expressing his views. Although it needs to be said that when we presented his views to Mr. Ben Chuks Nwosu, Mr. Ben Chuks Nwosu used quite a number of colorful words. 1, demarketing; 2, lies; 3, unfounded propaganda; 4, spurious; and indeed 5, illogical. Just to put this in context, I'm sure my friend Don Adinoba is going to want to come back on that. All the time I have left, Chuks, is Emeka, I beg your pardon, is to just thank you.
Yeah,
you
thank
can
you
see how
very
much you are,
much.
for coming on.
I believe the election will hold.
It will hold.
It will hold.
It will hold.
Yes.
It has to hold. That's our program today. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folarin. Bye for now.